So today, these are the things that we're going to cover. So how to collaborate on a large and small scales. I've got two examples, one from a really big national brand and then one from a smaller brand. And just to kind of give you guys some ideas on how you might be able to collaborate, what that looks like, and kind of give you guys maybe some actionable tips to take away. Memes, how you can use memes, some of the better memes from 2022, how you can use them, where you find them, and what you can use them for when you're thinking about planning in your content for next year. National days and themes, that's another one. So national days, I'm looking at the different ways that different businesses have used that over this year, and different themes that they've used for the year to create strategies for next year. And then I'm going to show you pretty much what I think is still the most engaged Instagram post ever, just because it's the last webinar of the year, and it's good to kind of end on a bit of a high and show you guys what the most engaged one was. So for those of you guys who don't know, this is the dashboard of Maybe, and this is where all the magic happens. So at the top, you can see, and basically these are your actions. So you can schedule in your content, or you can engage with content. You can reply back to people that have commented across your Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. You can talk to people who've mentioned you. You can engage with people's posts who've previously engaged with you. You can manage your ads, but effectively one of the biggest things about this is that you can compare and contrast and learn. So on the left is always going to be your best post, and on the right, it's going to be any competitor. So whether you choose McDonald's or whether you choose the local burger shop down the road, it doesn't matter. We've got it all here. We just pop it in, and then you can start to monitor how they're doing versus how you're doing and get better at social, which is what we're all about here at Maybe. So I'm just kind of going to get cracking, really. So first of all, I'm going to start here on the left. So this is about collaborations. We talk a lot about this. In fact, I'd hasten to say I probably mention it at least once every 2 weeks, if not more than that, and talk about all the different ways that we collaborate. So I'm going to start with the jewelry brand Pandora. There we go. Hopefully you guys can see this okay. So we're going to start with the jewelry brand Pandora. And they, if you don't know them, they are a massive international jewelry brand. And I'm just going to pause this here so you don't get all caught up in it. There we go. So Pandora is a huge international jewelry brand, and what they did is they wanted to launch a new range of charms, and they wanted to do it in collaboration with Marvel. So there was lots of new Marvel films coming out, and so they did a big, huge collaboration. Now, as I said, this is this is an international brand, so I'm not saying you need to collaborate with Marvel. My point is that there's lots of things that we can take away from these guys. So the launch offered loads of great inspiration for the brand, and they created a series of posts as part of their announcement. So each one had kind of themed captions, as you can see here. So this one was using Spider-Man's sort of catchphrase and fun reels. So let's have a little look at it, and then we'll talk about it. Sorry, you missed the start of it. Fab. Okay. So as you can see, the video is epic. No one's expecting you guys to be able to create that unless you've got an incredible production team, which is, amazing if you do. But what they did was that they knew that they wanted to launch something. They were doing a collaboration. They were doing it, so obviously they were doing it with a huge movie, but ultimately if you had a launch coming up or something, then these are ways that you can infuse a bit of joy and excitement into your launch. So say it's a brand new menu, or say it's, I don't know, a brand new shop that you're opening in a shopping center, for example. There's lots of different things that we can take away from this. So let's have a look at it. So they created the video, which is all about, I guess, tying the two things together. So it's tying, I guess, the Marvel thing with the music, with then the actual jewelry itself. So it's kind of pulling those three things together. So again, we've seen, I think last week we saw an amazing collaboration with a watch brand, a local watch brand, and a local pizzeria. In fact, it was in a little food van. And they did an amazing reel where they were going into, the guy in the pizzeria was going in to pick up a watch. And so he recorded his journey, you know, on the way from his pizzeria in through the high street, in picking up his watch, bringing it back out, and then cooking with it all day. So it kept showing you the watch, but showing you the pizzeria. So that's, I guess, how this collaboration is the same, in that they've taken, you know, the Pandora, and they've taken the jewelry, they've taken the brands, and then they've mashed it all together, so that you are ultimately talking about the two things. You're not just talking about the jewelry, but you're talking about the brand itself. So how can you kind of use this for 2023? Well, ultimately, it's about thinking about creating excitement around it. So, for example, with these guys, as I said, they created lots of these. So for example, if you did have, let's go back to the pizzeria, for example, you know, if they were, I don't know, launching a whole new load of new menus or something like that for 2023, then it could be that, you know, they do close-ups of the toppings, and you've got to guess what, you know, what the pizza might be. So that again is creating engagement before you then announce the new menu. It might be that, yeah, if you are, you know, launching a new shop, or you're doing a refurb or something like that, then again, you're showing maybe close-ups of things, you're showing little bits of paints, you're showing, I don't know, the seating arrangements, you're showing people, you know, I don't know, dressing up a window. You show the before and then you show the after. You know, that's again an interesting take on being able to do something like this. But when it comes to collaborations, it's about thinking about how you can best mash two businesses together that ultimately can bounce off each other, or, you know, like work with each other's audiences, and then turn that into a piece of content that actually is really interesting. So it's the video first. Think about, you know, how you capture their attention. Think about, you know, that if it's two brands, you need to make sure that both brands are equally represented, depending on what it is. So it needs to show, you know, the businesses. It needs to show, you know, maybe the people behind the businesses. It needs to show the product. And just think about the kind of innovative ways you can do that. And that's the great thing with Reels. You can just smash things together, you know, lots of different snippets of things. But then you need to think about the caption as well. So as you can see, they've included, you know, quite interesting wording into the caption itself. So swinging into action, new Spider-Man sales have officially landed. Inspired by everyone's friendly neighborhood hero. Remember, with great power comes great responsibility. So that is Pandora giving a nod to Marvel. You know, you have to obviously be a Spider-Man fan, well, or at least very least know Spider-Man, to know that that's what you know, one of the big catchphrases is, I guess. But the fact that they've looked that in shows, again, you know, again, a kind of nod to the fact that they understand the customer, they understand who they're targeting, they understand who they're talking to. So again, it's worth thinking about that when you're looking at building up that content. So if it is a florist working with a pub, I use this as an example quite a lot because it's a really easy one. You know, the florist might be delivering the flowers into the pub or the restaurant or the cafe or whatever it might be, but it might be a nod to maybe some of the cocktails that are there, or it might be some local dialect that you include in, or it might be you pulling together the bouquets ready to deliver in and tagging in the manager. There's lots of different ways of doing it, but it's thinking about how you can weave in the kind of the wording as well into, I guess, you know, what you're doing as part of this. But remember, always tag as well. That's the extra thing as well, which again, they don't have to do with Marvel, let's face it. But you can, you know, if you're doing any kind of collaboration, make sure that you're tagging. So I guess my kind of takeaways from that is make sure that you think about which businesses or brands or people you might be able to collaborate with for 2023. It should be ones that, I guess, you know, you both share the same audience, so you can kind of, you know, like, you know, bask in each other's glory, if you like, to attract new people to each other's business without losing your own business. Think about how you might collaborate. So thinking about something like this, you know, if it's like a launch, or if it's an event, or if it's just a campaign or a competition. And then think about how you're going to show that on, whether it's visually, or, you know, like through a video, through a walkthrough, through you both standing there talking about it, or just through an image. Make sure that it's eye-catching enough to capture the attention. And then think about the content, make sure that it is giving a nod to both businesses, making sure that, you know, if it's tongue-in-cheek, or, you know, it's using the language that I guess that business would use in your post, and then vice versa. But yeah, no, it's a really cool one, but I just wanted to show you guys because, again, it's a big brand, but ultimately there's loads of things that we can take away from it. Now, this one is this is actually a franchise model based across the UK, and I actually got chatting to a lady the other day and I loved this Instagram post, so I wanted to share it. So this is Bridal Reloved, and this is the one in Caister. And they have shops all over the country, and basically they focus on so they sell pre-loved wedding dresses. So they're selling, you know, like designer wedding dresses, gowns, and all the bells and whistles at a lower price. Than you would pay on the high street, because it's pre-loved. That's what it is. You know, it's been from you know, the actual brand, or it's been from you know, like someone has donated it back in, you know, that kind of thing. Now, one of the things that they have done is try and focus a lot on working with local suppliers. Now, think about this when I'm talking about the collaborations and thinking about next year. This was so, you know, in comparison to Marvel, and like in terms of engagement, there's no comparison, but to them, their engagement rates went through the roof in comparison to what they would normally get on a normal post about, say, a wedding dress or something like that. This is actually something that's completely different. And so what they did was they did a little collaboration with a florist that is in the area. Now think about it: wedding dress, florist. Who else could you collaborate with? Wedding dress, bakery, wedding dress. It might be the somewhere that sells the groomswear. It might be the places that do the cars and the horse-drawn carriage. It might be hotels. It might be bars. There's so many places that a business like that can collaborate with, and you should be no different in your business. Your business should be absolutely zero difference in terms of coming up with different businesses that you should be able to collaborate with. So I'm going to show you it first, and then we'll chat about why it's so good. Okay, so this is fab for hundreds of different reasons. Okay, but first of all, let's go back to my original point. If you're going to choose someone to collaborate with, choose someone who has a shared audience. Now, if you've not got such a specific audience, so if you are, I don't know, if you are like a mortgage broker or something like that, well, pretty much anyone that needs to buy a house is your audience. So you could collaborate with pretty much the majority of businesses in your area, and you can use maybe to actually find businesses in your area that are getting really good very good engagement. But also so they've obviously chosen the florist, right? So great collaboration. Then think about the video. So I'll kind of play it in the background without the music so we can look at it. Think about the video. It is a walkthrough showing the florist delivering flowers to the place. It shows the place, shows the lady behind the business, shows the flowers. Then you get to see this really cool project that she's working on. So this is all about them dressing up their window ready for Christmas. Now, again, cool window dressings, different window dressings. Bear in mind that not everybody walks past your window. So popping that on social media is a really, really good thing. Pop it in, you know, and talking about it, showing, you know, like all the efforts that you guys go into to dress up your windows, whether it's for Halloween, Easter, Valentine's Day, or Christmas. You know, the premise is the same. If you're down a side street, or you're maybe not on the main road, I might not walk past you all the time, but you popping that on Instagram and you've done something really nice with your window would instantly make me go, do you know what, I need to go down there and have a little look at that. So that's the second thing. So it's all about the window dressing. The third thing is obviously the collaboration. So she clearly is, you know, promoting the florist, so it's promoting them to all the brides that are going to be looking at her content, and then the florist is equally going to be sharing that on her feeds and promoting the bridal gowns back to all the people that are buying beautiful bouquets throughout the year, as well as obviously anybody that's doing weddings. Then obviously they've done this, which is obviously this absolutely stunning creation with the turning these flowers into a wedding skirt, if you like. So it's a beautiful, Christmassy, gorgeous display. Now this shows artistry, it shows the collaboration, it makes you think Christmas, weddings, you know, it's got everything. It's got seasonality, it's got accuracy when it comes to the type of content, and then it's got the collaboration side of it, and it equally shows, you know, the work that lady's put into it, which again shows off her talents, but again it shows off the beautiful dresses that they have. So honestly, ticking every box in terms of collaboration. Then you've got all the other little bits. So you saw, you know, these little bits here, which again, I'm assuming that lady gave in. You saw the little lanterns, you see these. Then this is the owner. This is the owner of the business. And then this is obviously the florist as well. So that is the two ladies coming together to show the people behind the business, which I talk about constantly on here. Show the people behind your business, particularly when you're doing collaborations. I want to see that you two aren't in competition. I want to see that you two are working together, whether it's pub on pub, restaurant on restaurant, or two completely different businesses, because people buy from people, particularly at Christmas. It just shows that, you know, you're coming together and actually they've worked really, really hard as independent business owners to pull something together, which I think is really magical anyway. So that's really good. And again, to do this, they've taken a bunch of videos and a bunch of pictures and then used Instagram to just snip them all together, and you literally just upload them and it just does it for you. You add the music over the top. This, you know, the actual all of that, you know, I guess the theater of it is created on Instagram, whereas actually all the hard work that goes into it, you know, that might have taken hours and hours and hours of prep. I have no idea, but on there, that would have taken her a few minutes to kind of pull together to make it all, you know, like what she needed it to be, which is what you guys need, isn't it? You know, it's something quick. And then again, it's showing the shop window, it's showing the other items that she's got, it's showing the flowers, it's showing the display, it's showing the wreath. So again, it goes back to what I just said about Pandora and Marvel. It's showing both sets of businesses in fairly equal measure. So whether I'm looking for a dress or I'm looking for flowers, I get a real view. And then of course, you get to see the whole shop, which again, because it's Bridal Reloved that's done it, you would want to see the whole shop. I would want to see exactly where you are, want to get the experience of it. So quite frankly, like everything about this collaboration is ticking every box so far. So hopefully you've kind of figured, you've caught up with what I'm talking about basically. So it is collaboration, tick, video, tick, showing the humans behind it, tick, showing the artistry behind it if you've got something that actually takes a lot of time and effort. Shop window, tip. So all the things that we've talked about for the whole year is all in this one video. Then here, the content, it's lovely. So it is from the heart, it is from the owner herself, and she's tagged Sarah in from Indigo Blooms in Lincolnshire. So she's tagged her in as well. But basically you can see, you know, December window, she's talking about how she's so blessed to be surrounded by such talented people, and doubly blessed that they've chosen to sponsor the window for a month. So that shows that, you know, she hasn't had to pay for that. They've chosen to sponsor it because they can see that collaborating with them is only going to be lucrative for everybody all in. She's talking about what the woman creates as well, which is incredible. And then she's talking about, you know, all the different things. She's called the Foliage Dress Carol. It was amazing to hang out with you. Sorry, I had to kick you out for a bride to be, which again shows customer service. If you're looking for forever flowers for your wedding, give her a follow. And then as you can see, loads of people have commented on it, and she's used amazing hashtags as well. But this has gotten more engagement than the majority of the other posts. Now they do loads of lovely posts, but this, because it ticks every box. So think about it for 2023, going back to my original point, when you're thinking about who to collaborate with, think about how you're going to collaborate, what that's going to look like, and please use all of the tools at your disposal, because that is what this is. So even if you only do one big one for throughout the year, make it good, make it this. But remember, this is just, you know, this is an independent local business owner. She's not got loads of time to spend on social media. She's not got loads of time to, you know, come up with all of this kind of stuff. She has to just keep working at it. So creating a little plan for the beginning of the year, and obviously we're going to talk to you a lot about that in January, will really, really help you. But again, any questions on any of this stuff, just drop it in the Q&A, guys. Fully aware there's lots to cover today. Right. Memes, as I said at the beginning. So I'm going to talk, so Ryanair, I don't know how many times I featured them this year because they just keep churning out amazing content and giving us loads of ideas on how we can recreate some of this and for our own businesses. But basically, memes are one of the best ways of getting good engagement on social media, because as long as you understand your audience, you can find social media is rife with hundreds and thousands of memes that you can use to talk about something that is ultimately timely and it's relevant to your business. So I'm going to go into this first. So Ryanair are phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal when it comes to social media, and they're so good when it comes to memes. I'm going to talk about what they've done. I'm trying to pause it. There we go. Right. So as you can see, right, they do a lot of meme related content. They keep things fun, they keep things light. Although they talk about their flights, they take the mickey out of themselves. This is what they do as a brand. They're fully aware they are the cheaper budget airline. They don't get a great reputation and they just play on that. They're just kind of like, yeah, this is who we are. This is what we do. Let's take the mickey out of ourselves. So what they did was throughout the year, they do a ton of memes. And then what they've done is they've broken down their entire year of memes into topics. So, because obviously they use the meme for a thing. So whether this one was about check-ins, so taking the mickey out of, you know, that horrible, you know, like all the queuing and all the manic sort of craziness of the check-ins. So that was this one. This one was their predictions. This was, you know, it might have been who's going to win Love Island, or who's going to win the World Cup, or who's going to win the Women's World Cup, who's going to win the Euros, you know, who's the Euros, who's going to win like all of the different I don't know, the athletics. You know, they did a ton of predictions for everything. I think they even did it for like weddings and various other things, but that's just what they do. And then this one, which I loved, was all, in fact, I'll let you guys watch it. So this one was all about me going to the airport at 3 a.m. because the flight is $11.99 cheaper. So this is from the idea being that this is one film versus another film. I don't know if you're a big Leonardo DiCaprio fan. I'm not going to go into loads of detail about the films and whatever. Feel free to go and watch them. But basically, it is taking the mickey of the idea of the going to the airport really early because you've got the $11.99 flight, and just how like crap it is, but you on holiday and how amazing life is because you've got loads of money to spend. So let's watch it again. So it's a play on that you will, you know, they know that they're the budget airline. They know that people don't want to be spending loads of money on their flight because they want to be on holiday, and the idea is like balling, you know, like, you know, spending all their money on that. So they've taken the sort of like two various memes and then smashed it together and turned it into a versus, right? They've done exactly the same here with their check-ins.
Can someone please explain to me, why do Ryanair board people while other passengers are still exiting? Can someone please explain to me, why do Ryanair board people while the other passengers?
So these are videos from like actual people that are, you know, sick of waiting, and then they've turned it into a little meme by putting the like funny voiceover over it and blah, blah, blah. To point out that they only have a 25-minute turnaround for their flights and it's lower fares, right? So they're kind of playing on, I guess, complaints, I guess. And then you can see the other kind of ones that they do. So they use celebrities, they use modeling, they do everything. So I think what I guess you can learn from this is actually looking at your business, looking at your customers, understanding what makes them tick, and giving them more of it. So they get a ton of engagement on their social media by celebrities, by average Joes, by the rest of us, because their content is bang on, as in they know who they are, they know what they are, they know that their customers don't really care that much. You know, they know that they'll queue for hours or, you know, do all the different things in order to have that budget airline so that they can spend the money. So the point is that they can afford to be tongue-in-cheek, they can afford to take the mickey. So thinking about memes in that kind of way, there are hundreds and thousands of memes all over social media, and it's all about hitting the right tone with your clients. So let's have a look at the other one. So everyone loves an Adele meme. Adele is the queen of memes. She doesn't mean to be, she just is. And that's because Adele likes to go on to social media and do loads of lives, and she pulls incredible expressions. And a lot of people used Adele this year for, like, when she was, I guess, doing her whole comeback thing. Boohoo, now they obviously are, I'll click into it while we talk. So Boohoo are a female brand. They are talking to, I guess, you know, women and girls, teenagers, as well, ladies in their 20s, who want to buy, I guess, you know, like ultimately fast fashion. So it's not the most expensive thing in the world. It is, you know, it is about clubbing. It's about going out. It's about girls being girls on holiday, Hindus, you know, like partying, clubbing. It's all about women being women and girls celebrating girls, friendships. And what they do is they choose memes that are generally aimed at obviously females. So think about what makes females, you know, for them, what makes their female audience tick. So they know that it might be a sale, which we're going to talk a little bit about here. They know it might be thinking about, you know, what's going on in their lives. I don't know, a boyfriend dumps them, a friend wasn't being very nice. Or it might, a lot of the time they talk about, you know, that when they're on a night out and they've got to try and get their drunk friend home, all those kind of things they basically talk about, because it's all about, you know, what else would engage them that's not about their clothes. So they do a lot of that. But for this one, I really liked it because they chose like a classic Adele one, and then they've put their Boohoo spin on it. So let's have a wee look at it.
No. No.
So this was her on a live, and she's like having a wee look through, I assume the comments, because she was doing, you know, a kind of live Q&A. So she's clearly like a bit baffled by whatever she was being asked, not quite sure. But they've chosen to do it saying, hello, it's up to 90% off at Boohoo. Tap the link in the bio to save up to 90% off right now. So that is enough to make anybody go, wow, engaged. Then obviously they've used the meme of her going, oh no. Seeing my total after saving up to 90% off at Boohoo. So that is a play on, did you buy the whole blooming shop because you saved 90% off? So, oh my goodness, what have I actually spent? Or on the flip side, it is, oh my goodness, I've just bought 25 items and it's only cost me this. So it could go either way, is the kind of idea behind it. But it is a play, you know, like she's in no way associated with Boohoo. The point is that it's a meme, and that you could choose for anything. You could literally put something over that going, no, and it could literally be, I don't know, like where am I going to go tonight? Not sure. Or it could be something about a personal thing. It could be, I don't know, do you fancy, you know, if it's a gym brand, it could be, we know how you're feeling after your Christmas night out. You going to come today? No. You know, things like that. There's lots of ways that any business could use something like this. So just because it's Adele and just because lots of big businesses use it, doesn't mean that you couldn't take that and literally using something like Canva, or even just using Instagram and the Reels, put something over it that's something to do with your brand. They're all on there. They're all online. The point is that when you're thinking about content for next year, think about what themes you can give it, you know. So say it was, I don't know, something to do with like National Friendship Day. It could be, you know, like a meme that is all about, you know, girls being girls, or, you know, I don't know, anything like that. It could be an Adele one. It could be that you have a meme Monday. You just do like a different meme every Monday that's, you know, something to do with that Monday feeling. It might be that you're a mum brand. So it might be that, you know, if you're aiming it at mums, it might be something to do with kids every week, or I don't know, someone not pulling their weight in the house or trying to get the dog out, whatever it might be. There's so many different ways that you can do this. But my point is that Boohoo can do it and Ryanair can do it. But then, you know, your personal trainer down the road or your local bar can do it. Quite literally anyone can. It's all about thinking about what you're, you know, thinking about your overarching plan for the year. What is your plan for the year? What are you going to talk about and when? So thinking about, you know, your peaks and troughs in the year. And then how can you create engaging content? Trust me when I tell you memes get engaged with, but you have to be relevant to your business. They have to be something that is taggable, aka I would want to tag in a friend to this and go, oh my God, you know, you need this 90% off, or I love Adele, check this out. They need to be taggable, they need to be shareable, and it needs to be something that I call it hitting them in the funnies or hitting them in the feels. It's all about getting someone from an emotional perspective, so something that makes people laugh, or something that makes people, I don't know, sad, angry, excited, or, you know, I don't know, empathetic. So there's lots of different ways to do it. But yes, please, honestly, go on and look for Adele memes, because trust me when I tell you, you will find one for your business, because there are hundreds. And then, have you ever tried going into your insights and going into and looking for, sorry, not insights, going into the maybe blog and then looking for things like case studies, and you can do this through your training, or you can do this through the main sort of dashboard, but effectively you can go in here and there's loads of case studies that we've created for you. So it's using things like this. So it's, you know, how Ryanair did a thing, how Booking.com uses social media to manage customer contact, how Cineworld lets its audience create content and drives engagement for them. We do a whole load of these things, and the idea is that yes, it might be a giant brand, but it doesn't mean that you can't have some really clear takeaways from it. There doesn't mean that you can't go, oh, never really thought about maybe using Twitter as like a good way for, it's a good customer service tool, so that, you know, it takes us from the phones and onto social media. There's lots of different ways to do it. So make sure that you're going on there and you're looking at the platform, going into the training section. There's loads of training, there's case studies, loads of bits and bobs in there. Okay, so we are quickly going our way through this. So this is National Days and themes. So it was Independent Bookshop Week, and this business is north of the border, up in Scotland, my home place, and they were celebrating a year of stories. So this is actually a post by Visit Scotland, and it combines two relevant events to rally the content around. So I guess the image here, as you can see, really invites you, I guess, you know, like if you are obsessed with books, if you're a book lover, or you just love a really old shop, you know, that is just an absolute treasure trove, and the image itself would make you want to go and visit that if you were visiting the place. And then the actual post copy makes use of local and bookshop related hashtags, which again is going to drive down anybody that's looking for something to do in Edinburgh, something to do with books, I mean, book lovers, anything. And then they've obviously tagged in the photographer as well, to make sure that they can share it on their post. But ultimately, this is about sort of pulling together themes. So when, you know, if it was about Independent Bookshop Week, which is, you know, quite a specific one, but there's tons of them. There's, you know, Dog Day, there's I think there's International Pretzel Day. I mean, there's quite literally like a day for absolutely everything. There also will be ones that are more cause related, you know. So I know that a business that I was speaking to recently was doing stuff for Dyslexia Awareness Week. There's stuff, you know, there's Breast Cancer Month. There's loads of months where I guess and days that you can really theme your content around. So this is obviously Visit Scotland. They need to use other people's content. They need to use, you know, the places, the things in a place to drive people down. And they've used Bookshop Week as the thing to theme their content around. So I guess when you are thinking about your themes, so theme your content around national and local events, because it increases your relevance and it increases your engagement. There's, as I say, that you can literally Google lists of national days. That's what I do. And then you just plan it out in your calendar, put it in your diary and go, right, okay, it's, I don't know, Dog Lover Day on February the whatever. That's off the top of my head, by the way, do not quote me on that one. And then you know that you can plan it in. Well, what's the post going to be? What, you know, are you going to do a competition? What is the image going to look like? There's so many different ways of doing it. But I think there's even like Talk Like a Pirate Day. Could you all talk like a pirate for a day to create engagement? Loads of different ways of doing it. But you will always find something timely. And I guess it's something you can really engage your followers in. So as you can see, people have loved it. You know, my husband proposed to me here, my favorite shop. I would spend hours in there. This looks, there isn't enough hours in the day. People love it, because it is relevant, it is about a theme, it is enticing, so it's a really good image. So honestly, it's such a good way of looking at themes and national days. Another one is actually from The Range. So this was when, I think this was when the heat wave was happening, and it was really, really hot. I'm sure, don't know if we remember that because it's currently snowing, but it is where I am. So this was tips to keep you keep you and your house cool during this heat wave. Now, this is from the range. Now, this isn't theirs. This is from At Home 31, which is a completely different account, and they've created some content, and obviously they've used a lot of things that you know, the range sell, which is fine. But basically it is about being timely. So what is going on in the world right now? So it's snowing at the moment where I am in Buckinghamshire. Any businesses that have anything to do with I don't know, it could be anything to do with, like, you know, you might sell duvets, you might sell winter warmers, you know, I'm wearing a big jumper, it might be jumpers, it might be something to keep the dog warm. So if you sell anything like that, then there'd be no reason for you not to take ideas from this and go, right, okay, what are my top 5 tips on keeping your dog warm? You might show one of the jumpers or one of the little jackets, but it's about not just them, it might be about you, you know, don't keep them warm on your dog walk. So it's not directly pushing you towards that dog related product. It's about the tips around the owner. So let's have a little look at it.
My heartbeat sound. We fell in love as the leaves turn brown. And we could be together, baby, as long when I met you.
So it is super simple. Like, we are not talking about, you know, like coming up with War and Peace. What we're saying is that, you know, there's simple things. There might be little hacks. Everyone loves a hack. But you know, they've themed the hack around what's going on in the world right now. So that's why they're going to get engagement on it, because it's something that actually people are going, oh, I didn't really think about. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't think about freezing your water bottle, but maybe you didn't think about putting your water bottle in the freezer and go, oh, no brainer, cool. Maybe it's about putting your sheets in the fridge. I know a lot of people that did that. Blackout curtains, shutting your blinds, you know, stuff for the dog, because I've got a dog down there, that's why I'm pointing at him. So there's loads of ways of doing this kind of thing, but ultimately it's thinking about, so you've got your national days and stuff that you can forward plan, and then you've got your stuff that's relevant now. So if you've not done any content about the snow at the moment, or, you know, the ice or anything along the lines of that, why not come up with top tips, or take one from somewhere else and share it? As long as you tag them in, it's totally fine. If it's relevant to your customers, aka humans or dogs or cats or whatever it might be, then talk about it, because the heat affects us all, the snow affects us all, the rain affects us all. Those are things that we can't control, but we can use for engagement. So again, it's just about, so that's proactive, and then there's reactive. So thinking about that for next year, thinking about ways that you can go, we know it's always going to snow, we know it's always going to rain. What things can you do around that time to, I guess, engage people? And then finally, wow, right. So this is the most engaged Instagram post, I think, still ever. Don't know if we can even say all these numbers. Yeah, so over 8 million likes. I'm just going to go into it and we'll talk about it. Now, I'm not saying you can directly replicate this, but there are actually things that you can take away from this. Okay, so this is an advert, and it's for global clothing brand Louis Vuitton, and it's featuring footballers Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, and they're playing chess on a Louis Vuitton suitcase. So yes, 2 massive stars, huge international stars. Everyone knows them across the world, whether you're a football fan or not. Most people have heard of Louis Vuitton at the very least. If you're not a huge fan and maybe can't afford it, that's absolutely fine. But most people would have heard of Louis Vuitton. Okay, so big brand, 2 fairly big stars, if you like. And what they've done is, it's starting with it, it's a hugely evocative image. So the 2 footballers have paused in their journey. So they paused in their journey with their suitcases. So thinking about the theme behind it, right? They've got their Louis Vuitton suitcases. Where are they going? Could it have been to go to the World Cup? Perhaps. Well, we won't really go into that just now, but you know, maybe it was to go to the World Cup. Maybe it was to go on a trip somewhere. Who knows? But the idea is that these 2 footballers are going on a trip, and they've stopped for an impromptu game of chess. They're as focused on the game of chess as they are with football. And as you can see, they're using the suitcase as the chessboard, as opposed to an actual chessboard. So the staging of the photo is deliberately moody, with the light really capturing certain aspects of it. It's capturing their faces, it's capturing their hands, and the chess pieces. So this is, it's thinking about the, like, when you're thinking about imagery, it's thinking about, you know, like product placement, what you want things to look like, how you'd want, you know, so if you were, I don't know, even presenting, you might be, I don't know, a local deli and you're presenting a sandwich, you still got to think about how it's going to look on social media. You still got to think about what, you know, that what, you know, how can you show the best ingredients of it? So going back to these guys, so obviously the two footballers shared the image on their own social media accounts, as well as Louis Vuitton obviously sharing it, which proved to be a master play in engagement. So the combined total likes across the accounts, right? So this one's got 8 million. Across the accounts, they have 76.6 million people that have engaged with this post. Insane. It's insane, right? Now, I'm not saying we can get you 76 million, right? You never know. But what I'm saying is that there's definite things that we can take from something like this. Timing is everything here. Thinking about it, so they have timed their advert to coincide with the FIFA World Cup. So this is when this went out. So it's like, yeah, like 3 weeks ago. They coincided with the FIFA World Cup. So thoughts are naturally going to turn to football. So even if you don't tend to follow the game on a day-to-day, you couldn't really escape it, whether you liked it or not. It was talked about. It was a thing. Sharing is also important too. So this goes back to what I'm saying. So there's 8 million here, but because those other two have better accounts ultimately, because, you know, they've got a better following, by the combined share, that is now a reach of 70 odd million people. Now, going back to Bridal Reloved, and then going back to the florist, right? So no different. The florist might have, I don't know, I haven't checked, she might have 1,000 followers, okay? Bridal Reloved might have 2,000 followers. So the fact that Bridal Reloved, has done the post and then tagged in the florist, and then the florist will have done a post and tagged her in. So they might have 50 likes on one, they might have 60 likes on another, they might have 10 comments, they might have, you know, 12 comments on another. That combined, that's when you think about the reach, that is the amount of people that have seen it. The power that is with Instagram means that the more people that engage with your post, so what will have happened is like this, the florist will have had a load of people who've never heard of Bridal Reloved. They will have gone, oh, that sounds interesting, gone, and then they might have engaged with their post, or they might have suddenly liked them. The people from Bridal Reloved might have never seen the florist before. They will have done exactly what's happened here and gone on and engaged in some way, shape or form with the florist. They're sharing an audience, they're growing their engagement, they are pulling together to grow their combined reach and actually engagement and possibly following. But guess what Instagram does? It goes, oh, lots of people really like this content, let's keep pushing it up. So things like the hashtags, all that kind of thing, where, you know, you're just randomly looking for content. The content that comes up is the stuff that gets the most engagement, aka the, you know, the likes, the comments, the shares, and the collaborations and things like that. They all get the most engagement because it shows up to more people, because they want to boost more content that people want to see and engage with. That's what this is all about. So when I showed you this, you were about like, what the hell can we take from, you know, Louis Vuitton and these guys? It's thinking about how you can get the most reach on your Instagram or on Facebook. You know, all the platforms are the same ultimately. You know, they want you to engage, and the things that get the most engagement is the stuff that then, you know, they will keep pushing up the algorithm. So when we talk about content planning for next year, this is why we show you this. This is why it's so important, because whether you're Louis Vuitton, Cristiano, or Lionel Messi, or whether you are a bridal shop and a florist, or you know, any other collaboration that you can think of, a nail bar and an actual bar, doesn't matter. That is why we do this. That is why you collaborate. That is why you tag. It is why we always encourage people to reshare. It is why you plan your content in, because you need it to be engaging. And it's why you should be using Maybe to work out, okay, I did this post the other day. That's my most engaged post of the year. How can I do more of that? So I'm hoping that that gives you a huge amount of inspiration. And then remember, on Maybe, we are constantly making updates. I mean, like, honestly, the stuff that's coming in next year, there's a really cool thing coming in for LinkedIn, which will be really good, I think, for a lot of people. But we're always making updates to it. So if there's anything you do want us to do and we don't do it yet, drop us a note, let us know, click the little blue button on the dashboard and we will put it into our development and talk about it and see if it's something that we can make happen. But also there's here a list of updates that we've been making recently. So again, this is all in Maybe. And it will show you, so it can specify the channel that you want, this was a while ago. So specify the social media channel you want to boost to. So this is about boosting on all of these. So you can now boost on Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, or Audience Network. Or send me report options. So if you want different reports, we've added those in. And again, this is all based on feedback that you guys have given. So the more you give feedback, the more that we can actually do more with it as well. And then remember, you can compare and improve. So here is your best post. So please, please monitor your best post and start doing more of it. Again, Louis Vuitton will be doing the same, and so would Bridal Reloved. And then compare. So compare it with a competitor, compare it with someone else, I guess, within your sector, or it might be that you want to get some inspiration from another brand. But remember, if you don't have what suits you, just click on the blue button, contact us, and we will try and arrange something that works better for you in terms of a plan. And then key takeaways. Just to round us off for 2022. I can't believe this is the end. So when you're planning your year, take a look at the engage section. Take a look at what's your most engaged post. Take a look at your dashboard first of all, but then go into your place and identify the businesses that you might be able to collaborate with in the year ahead. I urge you all to do this. Go in to engage, go into your location. And then what comes up, make sure it goes to local. And then what comes up is literally all the most engaged posts in any of the businesses in your area. If you're seeing the same ones come up again all the time, trust me when I tell you, you want to be working with them in some way, shape or form, whether it's on a competition, a collaboration, or if it is just literally liking their content and commenting and it saying, oh, I don't know, that dress looks great, or, that great service, because you will then come up more to those people. And if they've already got engagement, then those people are engaged enough, they will suddenly see your comment and want to come back to you. And that's all about collaborating within a place. So trust me, please go on, use that part of the platform because it's so powerful. Memes, I've talked about them a lot, but memes are a great way to engage your customers. So why not look at creating a plan of the year in terms of what you want to talk about and when, and then you can find the right memes to suit your audience. As I say, you might do a meme Monday or a theme once a month, something like that, but use it because trust me, they do engage people. National days and events or things that are going on are a great way to frame your content, whether it's Bring a Child to Work Day or a heat wave. Make sure that you're ready to be proactive and reactive on social media. And then join us in January. So we are going to dedicate the month. We're going to do stuff like this where basically we're going to talk about, case studies, but we are going to dedicate it to things. So we're going to be talking about literally, like how to plan in which channels you should be on. And I will show you examples of businesses that do that well. How to plan your content for the year, what kind of themes you should be using, and how to plan it, what kind of tools should you be using. So we're really going to dig into almost that social media strategy for you so that you can plan as well as grow.